Banks are really scared of stablecoins, and it's not about dangerous crypto narrative. They're just panicking that we'll stop using their services. Today, we'll break it down in simple words. Why there's such a fuss surrounding digital dollars right now in the US, and how one new law could flip everything upside down. USDT and USDC are no longer just for traders. People use them for international transfers, paying for services, settling bills, and even getting paid for work. If someone can hold a digital dollar, operate with it 24/7, and get bonuses or yield on top, an awkward question comes to the front. Why bother to deal with a bank? There's a new law, known as the Clarity Act, is being discussed now. On the surface, it looks great, as it gives crypto market clear rules and protects us from scams. But there's a huge catch. The bill hides a clause that hits stablecoins hard by banning the users from gaining interest and, as a result, getting any yield from cryptocurrencies. And here comes the big question. Does this law really protect us? Or is it just banks trying to save themselves so that only they can make money from money? Today, we'll figure out if one paper can turn the entire crypto market upside down. What is the Clarity Act? The Clarity Act is the US law finally trying to write down proper road rules for the crypto market. As of now, crypto in America has been living in launch first, ask questions later mode. One regulator says, "This is a security." "No, it's an asset," another one states. Projects don't know who to report to, exchanges don't know what they can list, and investors don't know what they're even buying. The main feature of the Clarity Act is that it stops trying to cram all crypto into one box. Currently, officials judge tokens by the old stock rules. The new law says, if a coin doesn't promise dividends or a business stake, it's just digital goods. And that means that way fewer strict requirements are applied. In plain English, the Clarity Act is supposed to eliminate the gray zone crypto has lived in for years. On paper, that sounds good, but in practice, as usual, well, you know how it goes. What problem does the Clarity Act solve? The main problem the Clarity Act is supposed to fix is market chaos, which is present and is an issue. Right now, users often buy the tokens almost blindly. Different new projects talk beautifully about revolution, new economy, and strong community. But a month later, the team dumps the token, money vanishes, the site goes down, and the chat is full of sad messages. "We want the refund." Exchanges share the same story. You see a balance in the app and think your money's safe. Then the platform freezes withdrawals, and all you have left with is a screenshot for your wallpaper and your bitter experience. The Clarity Act tries to deal with this. Projects must disclose upfront who's behind the token, how much funds belong to the team, what the risks are, how the project economy works, and who could potentially crash the price. For regular users, that's a plus. Less guessing, scam or not. Because buying a token now is like picking a watermelon at the market. If you knock on it, it sounds ripe enough. But you can actually see what's inside only after cutting it open. New requirements for crypto projects. For projects, this law could be both an advantage and an issue. The plus is clear rules. A project can show the regulators in advance. Here's our token, here's how it works, here's who's behind it. And if they don't say no within 60 days, it can operate calmly instead of waiting for sudden claims. The minus is it gets more expensive for small teams to launch. More documents, lawyers, and checks. Instead of building the product right away, a startup first has to prove it's not just 3 students with a landing page, token, and a dream of becoming the next Bitcoin. The main blow, restrictions on stablecoins. But let's talk about the most important part, stablecoins. The Clarity Act has a much debated clause, a ban on paying out interest or yield on payment stablecoins. The text says crypto companies can't pay users interest just for holding stablecoins if it basically looks like a bank deposit. And that's where the real fight starts. The thing is that stablecoins aren't just digital dollars for crypto people. They're a competitor to bank accounts. Imagine, you have USDC or USDT. You can send money anywhere in the world, any day, anytime. No weekends. No Payment will be processed in 3 business days. No feeling like your transfer is riding a donkey through a remote desert. And if on top of that, you get bonuses, cash back, yield, or rewards, banks start having a mild panic attack. Why? Because a regular person might ask, wait, why keep money in a bank if stablecoins are more convenient, faster, and might even pay me something back? That's when the banking lobby tries to put up a wall. Stablecoins, yes, but no yield. You can use them, but don't make it too advantageous. Officially, it's presented as protecting the financial system and users. Like, if a stablecoin pays interest, it becomes sort of a deposit, so it should follow similar rules. But from the crypto industry's view, this is an attempt to kill competition. Because if stablecoins can't be made more attractive than a bank account, banks keep their edge. And that's the core conflict. Banks say user protection. Crypto hears protecting the banking system. At the same time, the bill itself recognizes that stablecoins are important for the US payment system and global dollar dominance. So the logic is interesting. Stablecoins are needed. We want to strengthen the dollar through them, but no yield for users. Otherwise, it'll be too good. In the Syndicate app, you can find dozens of ready guides on airdrops that show in detail how to get your first stablecoins without investing. Politicians' ethics in crypto is the biggest hole in the law. Moreover, conflicts of interest have been actively discussed as well. Should the US president, Congress members, their families, and related companies be allowed to launch tokens, own crypto assets, participate in crypto business, or profit from projects whose price they can influence with their statements and decisions? But in the current Clarity Act version, inner sources state that there's no direct ban for the US president, Congress members, or politicians on participating in crypto business, owning tokens, or launching crypto projects. And that's a very interesting and defining detail. Because regular projects are told to disclose token structure, insiders, risks, governance, audits, decentralization plans, and it all is logical. But if a politician or their inner circle launches a token, hypes it up, profits from audience attention, and then people are left with worthless papers, where are the strict separate rules for that case? Right now, it looks as if they want to regulate the market, but still leave crypto activity for politicians in a very convenient shadow. And this is no longer just a legal detail. It's a matter of trust. Because if a law protects the market from scams, but doesn't close the door for the most influential people who can move the market with one post, then the question arises, whom exactly does this law protect? Users? The industry? Banks? Or those closest to the levers of power? Why the Clarity Act could be a turning point. If the Clarity Act passes, it could be a turning point for the US crypto market. The pros are obvious. First, less regulatory chaos. Projects will know how to launch. Exchanges will be aware of what to list. Investors will see where there's more transparency. Second, more trust. When projects must disclose tokenomics, risks, insider shares, and audits, users can more easily tell real projects from nicely wrapped traps. Third, institutional money. Funds and big players love rules. Not because they're boring, but because billions are more protected. But there are downsides. First, the market could become less free. More requirements, reporting, higher entry barriers for new projects. And taxation, of course. Second, some innovation might leave the US for places where launching is easier. Third, banning yield on stablecoins could hit users, because banks effectively keep their monopoly on dollar yield. And fourth, the law might create rules for everyone except the most influential players. And that already smells like not a free market, but a club where one should be eligible to enter the facility. Banks aren't so much killing stablecoins as trying to stop them from becoming too convenient bank account replacements. The Clarity Act could bring order, user protection, and clear rules to the crypto market, but at the same time, limit one of stablecoins' strongest use cases: yield, bonuses, and deposit alternatives. The main paradox is that the US recognizes stablecoins' importance for the future payment system and dollar strength, but doesn't want them to become too attractive for regular people. Crypto is growing up, but with it come banks, lobbyists, and laws hundreds of pages long. And now the big question isn't whether the market will be regulated, but who writes the rules and in whose favor they're in. If you want to dive deeper into laws like this, subscribe to the Syndicate YouTube channel. I regularly break down how to make money in crypto world without extra risks.